Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, dynasty tomorrow.
Happy Wealthy Wednesday. Come on in, champions. Come on in. Today's going to be amazing. I am so excited for our guest speaker. You know, sometimes you meet people and you just have an automatic connection. That is absolutely true with my today's guest speaker. We're going to be talking about the 365-day afterglow. And if you don't know what the 365-day afterglow is, you don't know what the 365-day challenge is, today you're going to learn about the 365-day challenge. Listen, I want to ask all of you, whether you're joining us live or whether you're joining us on the team replay, what have you done every day for 365 days? I mean, every single day. I personally can't think of anything. I mean, I do a lot of things most days, but there are some of those days where, things get a little wonky. There are those days when maybe your day goes through and then suddenly you realize, oh, shoot, I didn't get my workout in, or I forgot to do my meditation. I forgot to pray. I forgot to read today. I forgot to do one of my steps, right? Well, this amazing woman did something for 365 days. Every single day. I mean, I'm just it blows my mind when I even say that. Hey, Miss Jackie, great to see you. Oh, sound like you had a great weekend last weekend. I saw you had a big crew of people you were with. I was excited to see that. So come on in, grab something warm to drink, bring your fuzzy slippers. Today's going to be a lot of fun because she's a lot of fun. She brings a lot of energy and she just cracks me up. I just love her because she is not only bringing so much value, but she does it with such grace. She does it with such exuberance. And at the same time, she's hysterical. She's going to make you laugh. She's actually the founder of the How Now podcast, the founder of Redefining You LLC. She is a 7-time author. Yes, she is 7-time author. I haven't even written one book. She's written a book 7 times. And my sister from another mister, please give it up and welcome the most incredible Miss Kim Martin Raymond. Join us on Wealthy Wednesday.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing great. Happy 2016.
2020
already. What?
What happened? I don't even know. January seemed like it went on forever.
Yes.
And suddenly it's the 4th of February. I don't even know what this month is going on. I don't know.
Yes, I am so thrilled to share space with you. You know, you are one of my favorite people. And so I am just so thrilled to be here and to talk about this and to, hopefully impart and drop some nuggets. So make sure you have a little piece of paper near side, piece of paper and pen nearby. I keep one nearby too, because, not only do I drop nuggets, I hear some and I have to go and write them down myself.
Absolutely. I brought my nuggets. See, I know you're going to be dropping some nuggets today.
Yes.
So tell everyone. Now, I've been following you for the 365. Tell people what this 365 is all about. How did this come up? Why did you want to? I mean, why did you want to do this? Tell us about
that question all the time. Yes, but the 365-day challenge came as a part of the wellness journey that I was on, that I started back in September of 2021. I started on Labor Day. I just was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and my weight was just spiraling out of control. And so I really wanted to get a grasp on my wellness. And so what I learned over the course of those couple of years is not just that, the effects of me changing my lifestyle, my dietary lifestyle, also compounded with my mental my mental capabilities and my spiritual capabilities. It touched on everything. And so, I began, doing certain things, creating certain habits, things that I noticed were working for me. And I just continued with those things. And so then, in 2022, I started talking about creating toolboxes. It was all about making sure that we were prepared for things that were going on in our lives. And I said that, I started the toolboxes because I said we have to be in a space of being able to respond and not react to the things that are going on around us. And I always use analogies. And when I think about a car, you have things in your car. You have your tire iron, you have your spare tire, you have all of these things that you need in case something happens. What do we do mentally, physically, and spiritually when things happen? Are we prepared? Do we have things in our toolbox? So I started creating toolboxes and started talking about those things. And then, when the beginning of 2025 came up, hey, Jackie, when the beginning of 2025 came up, I said, you know what? I've created some healthy habits. I want to help other people to create healthy habits as well. And I said, I think I want to do this 365-day challenge where I challenge people to create healthy habits that are going to help them to make overall wellness a habit. And how do we do that? What are some things that we can do physically? What are some things that we can do mentally? What are some things that we can do spiritually to create those healthy habits? And that's how I decided. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to call it the 365-day challenge. And every day I'm going to come on and share some things or, ask what things are working for other people. And that's how the 365-day challenge was birthed.
Boom, boom, boom. Think about that. And this, I can attest that he was live on video. There was maybe one or two you weren't on the video. Okay.
There were two that were just that where I was not live. My voice was live, but the picture was not live. And that was because I had put my bonnet on. The glasses had come off. I had brushed my teeth. I did everything. I was not putting my clothes back on. Okay, please, let's be clear about that. I was not putting my clothes back on. So I was like, they're going to get this nice picture of me smiling and they're just going to hear my voice. Because I was just like, oh, that's the one thing that I want to say with regards to this 365-day challenge. People are like, oh, well, would you do it again? Heck nah. Let me put on my New York voice. Heck nah. I ain't doing that.
This is why I love you, because
I would never do it again. Okay.
I thought when we talked, I thought you would say, yeah, I would do it again. And you're like, oh, heck to the no, that ain't happening.
No, would never do it again. I did it. It was wonderful to do it. And what it reminds me of is it says, we do things, you do things for the power for. Not for the power to or the power over. Okay. And let me just break that down a little bit. When you think about the power for, that's when you use your influence, you use your ideas and things to advocate for others and for the benefit of others. So I did this to benefit and to empower others, to make wellness and overall wellness a habit. So that's why I did it. I didn't do it just to say, oh, well, look what I can do. No, I wanted to be able to empower and to influence and to, encourage people. I didn't want to do it to say you have to do this. No, it was just let me give people some ideas of some things that they can do. So it was all the goal of empowering and influencing other people to make wellness a habit, and it's going to look different for everyone. So it was like, okay, I'm challenging you to think of some things that are working for you, not just the things that work for me, because we are all beautifully and wonderfully made, and we're all individuals. Yeah. So that's what I wanted it to be.
Absolutely. And you did empower and inspire me. And we will talk about those empowerments and inspirations. But I want to welcome a few people who've joined us. Of course, we have the great Jackie Holberg. Oh, my goodness.
Hi,
she is here. We love traveling with Jack. She hosts Just Jacks and does so much for our community. She's also bringing back the Wishful Wednesday. So, Jackie, please put your your events in the comments. People want to follow you. You got to know Jackie. If you don't know her, I got to tell you, her voice is intoxicating. I just love listening to her voice. I could listen to her all day long. So, but she doesn't talk just to talk. She drops golden nuggets. She drops tons of wisdom and so much inspiration. Thank you for all you do, Jackie. We love you so much. And Sandra, I don't know if I've enjoyed a coffee chat with you, Miss Sandra. If I have not, I've seen you in some spaces and places. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you. And remember, this is your opportunity. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, this is your opportunity to network with each other in the comments. Get to know it one another. If you have something coming up, I invite you to share it. If you have a new event, you've got a new book, you've got a new offering, go ahead and share it in the comments. And Bobby, great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. And again, thank you for joining us. I don't know if this is your first time here, but I would love to enjoy a coffee chat with you also. I just believe in no pitch coffee chats. I have dubbed myself the queen of no pitch coffee chats. I have over 200 no pitch coffee chats last year. It came up on my calendar. I love it. And Merlin, you know what? You and Merlin should get to know each other.
All right, Merlin.
Miss Merlin is looking for guest speakers, and I think you would be an incredible guest speaker for her. Awesome. I met her through the Hello LLC. She's such a powerhouse. She's so dynamic. She has such a thirst and a hunger to not only learn, but also to inspire and bring value to our community. Thank you so much. And then we've got, oh my gosh, the great Cristina Salgato. I just love Cristina. I love her name. I want her name. I want to be Cristina. She's an incredible resource if you're looking to upgrade your level, LinkedIn or social media. She believes in organic growth and attraction. I've learned so much from her. She's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then we have, oh my gosh, Mr. Mic Drop himself, Mr. Metaverse. They're actually the sparkle behind what I do here, the Hello LLC. I adore them. Him and Miss Tar are the 1-2 punch. Definitely know about the metaverse and just really social media in general. I'm just so grateful for what they're doing for me. Yes. And then Miriam, I think you're new here. Do you know Miriam?
I don't.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Share what you do. Someone is looking for you and what you do. One habit at a time. So this is our Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers. She teaches us all about Think and Grow Rich. I absolutely adore this woman so much. I've learned so much from her. And at the same time, she's always bringing value to all of us. She's invested many years of learning about money and about mind shift. And she shares it with us for right, does it for free. She says, do one habit at a time. Like if you're going to change something, do it one at a time.
Yes.
Right? One at a time.
Yes. You know, and that's wonderful. And to piggyback off of that, you're talking about that one habit at a time. Yes, that's beautiful. Because as you're developing that, or if you have something that's existing that you're doing that has been working for you, like say you're drinking water and you want to drink more water, your habit stacking, you're adding on to something that you're already doing. So that way it doesn't have to always feel brand new. It can be something that you're doing and you just may need to tweak it so that you're doing a little bit more of that, or making it a little bit more challenging, or, bringing some flavor to it, so to speak. So I love that. One habit at a time. I love that you do this. First of all, that you bring people together, because we only do business with people we know, like, and trust. And if I don't know you, I get all kinds of invitations or oh, hey, come and join me. And let me tell you about this and that. I do business with people I know, like, and trust. And you are just such a beautiful, funneler of people, if we can say that, if that's a term. She brings people to me that are, are people that I trust, or that I get to trust and get to know through their relationship with you. So I love that you have this platform. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed, and honestly, I intended for this to be a LinkedIn audio event. I didn't want to go on camera. That was the furthest thing from my mind. But I'm telling you, a good friend of mine told me, you've got to record these. And I'm so glad I did, because now I have this all this history of all these recordings, and you can kind of see my evolution, right? How I've grown. And it's going to be fun because I'm going to do some throwbacks and you guys are going to see. Listen, my hair was a little squirrely. I don't know. I got this hair thing,
That's
but
okay. Now I
anyway.
need to be on camera because my hat is cute today.
No, you got it. Listen, this woman, if you don't know, okay, I got to say this. I watched her for 365 days. I did not see one outfit that was duplicated ever. Like, not, and I'm talking about head. I'm sure it was head to toe because she don't do like that. We don't believe in
No
that.
pressure. No pressure.
They're like done head to toe. She's got the jewelry. She's got the berets. Like she's got it all. So you inspired me to kind of update my wardrobe. First of all,
I would crawl under the table, but we're live, so I'm gonna stay.
No,
I'm gonna stay up,
no.
and I'm just gonna say.
Stay up.
My mom and dad said, just say thank you. Someone say thank you.
That's right. Just say thank you. And Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers, please share your events in the comments because I know people want to join you. She does a Mindset Monday, which I just watched, an incredible show that she put on with Christine Chadwick, I think is her name. So please share that in the comments. People need to join you on Mondays and Fridays. But yeah, you've got it going on. I definitely need to upgrade my game on that for sure. But
like I said, no pressure.
No pressure. The other thing that you really helped me to really internalize is how inconsistent I am. And that's good, right? All progress starts by telling the truth. We can't do better if we're not real with ourselves.
Right. You have to know where you are in order to know where you're going. That's like screaming in the wilderness, help. And you're saying, well, where are you? Well, I don't know. I'm just standing out here in the grass and all I see is trees. Okay, that, you're giving me some identifier, but I don't know where you are. And I need to get to a place where I can describe where am I? And in order for me to be able to grow, in order for me to be able to heal, I have to be able to acknowledge the space that I'm in. Where am I now? Okay. One thing that I wanted to say also about this 365-day challenge, something that I learned is that every single day I showed up for me. And that's something that's so important and something that I want people to realize that you may not show up to work. You may not show up for your family or your friends the way you want to, but every day that you wake up and you take that first breath of life, well, you take a breath all throughout the evening. let me not say your breath stops, but when you wake up in the morning and you put your hand over your heart and that heart is beating, that's purpose. Yeah. And if you don't show up for anybody else, what I've learned in this 365-day challenge is every day you're showing up for yourself. Now, what that looks like is going to be something that's different. It may look like I'm going to stay under these covers and I'm not moving today because that's what I need to do. That's what I need to feel. But you have to realize you're still there. You're still showing up for you. So the one thing that I learned out of everything is that no matter what happened during the course of this 365-day challenge, every day I showed up for me. And it looked different. Like you said, some days it looked like inconsistency. When I did the 365-day challenge, it was, 3 to 5 minutes of my life. It wasn't the whole entire day. So, you got to just see a little snippet of something that I shared or something that was going on at that moment, in that now. But it didn't define the rest of my day, and it didn't define how the rest of my 365 days looked. But what it did was at least give me an opportunity to create certain habits so that if I got off track or if there were inconsistencies, what are some things that I can do to bring myself back to center? So that's something that was critical and something that I learned in this challenge.
Yeah, for sure. And you say it was just a few minutes, but listen, let's be real. You and I, we pull back the curtains, we take off the gloves, we talk the real talk. You've got to prepare for that. You always had a lesson, you had a scripture, like it was more than just showing up, hey, here I am. No, it was good, valuable information that you invested some time into it. So it was more than just the 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And, some days I got down, I was like, where am I going with this sometimes? Where is it that, what is it that I want to share today? And, some days it was like, okay, I think I'm going to share this. And then when I went to go, it was like, no, wait a minute. I want to share this instead. So sometimes it was, I had all kinds of things swirling around in my mind that I wanted to share. But then I was like, okay, I had to be intentional about certain things, or certain things happened. And I just felt like, okay, this was something that would be good to share because it was something that I experienced. So, there was some scheduling to it, but not a whole lot, because what happens when you start overthinking, and I'm one of those people who, can fall into analysis paralysis too much. Well, if I do this, maybe I should do that, and maybe it gets to be too much. Then I'm just like, I don't even want to press the button. Then I'm like, no, wait, maybe I'm not going to do it today. And then I was like, no, show up, be there. You're encouraging or inspiring someone, and sometimes we think that, oh, this is nonsense. This doesn't make any sense, but it's something that somebody needed to hear on that particular day. The spiritual aspect of my life, sometimes, source will drop information into my mind, and I'll just say, no, share this. And I'm obedient to that. So, it just goes to show that life is going to life. Like you said, there are going to be things that are going to happen, and you may have to make a pivot. But how is that pivot going to help you to grow? Is it going to touch someone? Is it going to influence someone? Is it going to be something that's going to expand someone or challenge them to stretch beyond their limits? Those are the things that I considered as I was going through this challenge and as I was sharing information.
And you definitely did that. I watched the comments. I watched myself. And at the same time, I love that you were sharing the experience. It wasn't this static, highly scripted content. It was really the real deal. And you shared kind of like some of the challenges as you were going through that. Yes. What were some of the challenges of showing up 365 days, on,
that I travel extensively for work. So the traveling aspect, there were times when I was in the airport. There were times when it got so late that I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is going to make it for the day, but wait a minute, it's before 12 midnight somewhere. So somebody's going to get it on time. I was like, wait a minute. So the biggest challenge was the traveling and being able to be in spaces to be able to do the recordings. You don't want to do it in the bathroom. You don't want to do it standing in the elevator. It was finding a space to be able to do it. That became a challenge. And then, there were 2 days, I believe, out of the entire 365-day challenges where I did not feel well. I was ill, and I was just like, no, put on this face for a minute and share what it is that you want to share, or keep it brief, because every day was not a day. My husband had a surgery during the course of this year. I've had some progressions I have spinal stenosis. I've had some progressions in my spinal stenosis and had to go through some treatments for that. So there were a lot of things that were going on, behind the curtain, where I had to say, okay, this is a challenge for today. I'm sitting up in this hospital. Let me see if I can find reception. But a lot of it was the traveling and trying to find spaces and trying to get things out. You start out saying, oh, I'm going to do this every morning. Sometimes it wasn't until 11 o'clock p.m. And it was like, oh, I didn't get a chance to share yet. So a lot of it was just trying to find consistent times to do things. So
without a doubt. And I totally relate to that, because some of my friends call me a gypsy. Now you are to the extreme. I thought it was gone a lot. You are really gone a lot. And it's easy to create habits if we are home every day, we're in the same environment, and we're really controlled. But I spend a lot of time with family. So I literally have my bags packed in my car at all times. And then I might go stay with a friend. I have friends that invite me over, spend the weekend. So literally I have to have things packed. And so that's one of the things that kind of helped me to know that I can be consistent even if I'm traveling. Because this girl, you don't know, she travels with let's talk about what you. She's got her weights. She's got like
Oh
she
my.
looks like
Oh
got a
my,
little
I'm traveling tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm traveling tomorrow. And so I'm gonna go. But there are certain things I do. One of my habits, and this is part of my wellness journey, I exercise at 5:30 every single day. Every single day. Does not matter where I am. I have gone through different time zones, but what I do is, yes, I carry weights with me. I have certain programs that I have on my phone that I follow. Now that I am working with a chiropractor, I have little pieces of foam and things that I have to carry with me, so that way I'm consistent in doing those things. But you know, when you're creating certain habits, certain things you may have to tweak a little bit if you're not in a space, like you said, like your home. Like I said, I travel a lot. I go and I travel and I see family. So I travel a lot for business, but for pleasure as well. But because there are certain things that are habitual for me, I take some of those things with me so that I can continue to do them. They may look different for that day, but they're still something that I do. I have a habit of doing my exercise at 5:30. It looks different when I'm across the country. It looks different when I'm with family, but it still gets done. The thing that's important is that you also are letting people know that these are the things that I'm doing. My family is familiar with things that I do. So they don't say, "Oh, well, we're not going to ask him at 5:30 to do anything," because we know that that's something that she does normally. That's part of her routine.
right.
Okay? When I travel with coworkers, they know how I eat. So they say, "Oh, well, Kim, we found this restaurant. Here's the menu if you want to check it out before then," because I've set the precedence. I've set the guidelines of things that I'm going to do. And so as much as I can, tell people, "Hey, this is something that I'm doing." I've set a certain boundary, and people understand those things, and people partner with me instead of being adversarial with me, because they know that I'm doing this because I'm looking to move the needle towards making myself better. And so I find that people tend to partner with me and help me along the way as I'm continuing with my healthy habits. So that's something that's key too. I'm not just doing this alone. I'm bringing people in to partner with me, and they see that this is something that I'm doing that's going to benefit all of us and not just benefit myself.
Right. And that really just really shows your integrity, that you are the same on and off screen. That habit is a habit. It isn't something that you did for the camera and the highlight reel. No, these were real habits that you have. It takes a lot to be intentional and to pack things that you're going to do, those habits. You know how many times I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to start a workout thing. I'm going to start this. Oh, but I got to wait till I come back from vacation. I got to wait until..." You're like, no, you got to just start.
You just have to start. I mean, when I started my wellness journey on Labor Day 2021, it was a Tuesday. And I was like, well, I could say, well, I'm going to wait till Monday. I'm going to wait till Friday. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired right now. I'm sick and tired right now. I'm going to start right now. It was like 2:15 in the afternoon or something like that. It wasn't even like, "Oh, I'm going to start as soon as I wake up." No, I was like, I'm going to start now. The one thing that's so beautiful is that you can start whenever. There is no set time. We tend to self-sabotage when we start talking about when we're going to do it and how we're going to do it, because then people and situations, the universe is listening, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, oh, she thinks she's going to do this on today. Let me go ahead and send her a cake. Or, oh, let me go ahead and send her like, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
And that's what happens. We self-sabotage, or we get it in our mind that I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden the forces that work for you begin to work against you. And so
Right.
it's important to just go ahead and say, just start.
Right.
I haven't drank enough water today. Let me just go ahead and get a bottle of water. Let me
Yeah.
not overthink this. Let me not make it more than it is. You know, just like when we tend to think about things in a grandiose way sometimes. And we
Mm.
have to just say, okay, let me just put one foot in front of the other. I spoke to my dear friend Jason. I hope he's listening today. Jason Gerardo. I absolutely adore this man. Shout out to Jason. Jason, what he texts, or he liked every single day for the entire 365 days he was there. So I adore this man. I appreciate him. And he was just like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there to support. But the one thing we were talking yesterday, and one thing he was talking about is purpose. And I was saying, yeah, when you put your hand over your heart and you feel your heartbeat, that's purpose. We've seen that in sayings and talked about how beautiful that was. But he was also saying, purpose is just getting up out of the bed. It's not saying, oh, well, my purpose, my goal in life is to do X, Y, and Z. How about let's just get up? How about let's just go? And he said, how about let's just go feed the cats?
Yeah.
How about being there for myself and then being there for my community, but not making it so grand that we're intimidated by it. So it's definitely about taking those little steps and being intentional about those little steps, that is going to help to build the momentum for us to go further. So, that's something that's key. You want to make sure that you're not overthinking things. Just start. Just put your foot in front of the other foot. So that way, that's how the momentum starts. That's how you get from crawling to walking, taking that first step.
I love it. Love it. Clip that. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Really what you shared earlier, show up for you.
Show up.
Showing up isn't perfect. You're seeing her after the 365 and she's in the afterglow, but there were some days when it was difficult. We had some challenges. Things didn't go right. The camera wasn't there. Maybe she felt a little cloudy from the day. And when you do that, that's when, to me, that's when the real change happens. Anyone can show up when it's sunny outside and we're going to go for a walk. I'm going to start my walking every day. And then tomorrow you wake up, it's storming. Yes. Like you said, next day, God sends you a cake. Oh, okay. So much for that diet. Right?
Right.
So that's when the rubber meets the road. And that's when the real change happens, is when we do it in spite of the things. That's when things go wrong, when it's rainy outside, when you've got a cake in front of you and you've got to say, no, I made a commitment, right? I made a commitment, not to everybody else, not to those sexy jeans we want to fit in, but to yourself.
Right. And the thing, like you said, one of the biggest challenges, and when you started talking about the phone and things like that, I can't tell you how many times my phone ran out of space. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how am I going to record? And I'm out here in another state and my phone is like, can't use your camera today because there's no memory. I carry around a lot of little external hard drives because I'm like, I don't have any space on my phone. What am I supposed to do? Or I had to go and use my laptop. I had to find other ways to do things. And so, we have to begin to tweak things. And then there are going to be days where you're going to fall off. But when you create a healthy habit, even if for some reason you cannot do something, if for some reason I could not exercise at 5:30 on a particular day, guess what? I'll exercise at 5:30 in the evening, or I'll exercise at 11 o'clock, whatever time I choose. All is not lost. Or if just for some reason I can't do it at all, I'm not going to beat myself up over that. I'm just like, okay, because with a habit, it's like, okay, I had to make an adjustment, but guess what? The very next day, I'm going right back on course. I course correct. I'm going back to do those things that I know to do. So it doesn't mean that you're never going to fall off when you create a healthy habit. Things happen. Life's situations come up. But because I had those healthy habits ingrained in me, I just pick up where I left off. Oh, I had that slice of cake. Okay. But the rest of the day, guess what? I had my salad. I drank my water. I ate healthy the rest of the day. All is not lost. And so that's the thing. You're creating things that are going to help you, again, to cope, to create your peaceful existence. That's what COPE stands for me. That's an acronym. Create our peaceful existence. How do we go about doing that? And it's not going to be perfect every single day. So it's important that I say, okay, what are some things that I have? What are some tools that I have in place that are going to help me to respond to the situation that's happening and not react to it? I have the tools that I need. I've created healthy habits that are going to help me to get back on course when I fall off of course, because you're going to. You're not always going to be on track. Okay. Especially if, you know, Facebook and all these people keep making all these fantabulous, meals and snacks and things. Oh my gosh. Why? I was like, why are you making all these things? And I don't eat like that, you know? But every now and then I want to stick my pinky in there and just taste a little bit. I just want to taste a little bit of it,
Yeah.
But I'm going back on course. That's the thing, it's not that there's not a path that's been created. There's a path that's been created, but there are several. Okay, so some days it may be best to take this path. Other days I'm going to have to veer off and go this way. But eventually they're all going to hopefully lead to where it is that I need to be, So that's the thing with the habits and the habit stacking. You're creating certain things that are going to help you to course correct when you fall off course.
Absolutely. And I would add to that is when things don't go the way that you wanted them to. Let's say you have that piece of, pie or cake. Then a lot of times people will say, "Oh, forget it. Then I'm going to have the chips, and I'm going to go ahead and have that donut."
It's
No,
right.
make that, do it. Forgive yourself, love yourself up, and then get right back on track. And I see that when people with money, they make a money error, or they overspend in a place. And then they just say, forget it. I'm just going to give up. Hey, I'll never get out of debt. It just is what it is. No, we can push that restart button at any time. And we can push that restart button multiple times a day. It doesn't just need to be one time.
That's right. That's right. And like you said, we tend to beat ourselves up sometimes when things don't go the way that we thought they were supposed to go. There are a lot of things that happen. We're told, oh, you can get to work, but you never told me how I was going to get to work. You never told me if it was going to be on foot, if I was going to ride a bike, scooter, skateboard. You never said how I was going to get there. You just said that I was going to get there. Wow. And so, who is it that dictates, or who is it that writes the rubric on life? Jason and I had a conversation about that too. Who creates this rubric? By what rubric are we using to say that this is how life is supposed to be? Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the same for everyone. And who sets that? And who gives them the authority to? I have to do things in a manner that's going to help me to be able to sleep at night. I need to be able to function in a way that's going to help me to operate with my body in an optimal level. How can I do these things if I'm not knowing where I am, reaching out to people who I can tap into that can help me to get to where I need to go? And I've got to make it my own.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of focusing on what someone else's ideal is of my personal wellness. Because there are too many outliers. There are too many other things that are going on with me, too many different variables. We have some situations that are similar, but there are a lot of outliers that exist that are going to make just a slight change in that. As a holistic, I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. So as a nutritionist, and as I can't have the same plan for everyone. If someone asks about exercising, I know you have bad knees. Why would I have you do 50 jumping jacks? That's not something that you're going to be able to do. Okay. So it's a matter of saying, okay, I need to know a little bit about your health background. I need to know a little bit about, your eating habits. How are you eating? I need for you to track your food so I can understand where you are. You have to be able to meet yourself where you are and understand where you are and acknowledge where you are in order to know where you're going. So that's something that is so critical. We can be judgmental of ourselves. Ooh. And we have to get to that space of self-love, and of self-care. And it doesn't involve just going for a massage. It involves us, getting up and saying, okay, just getting up. Let me just get up today. That may be all I have. You may want to get into a health routine or something like that. How about let's just start with putting the sneakers on? Yes. Or socks. Let's just start there. My gym is in my basement. I used to call it the 12-step program. It's going to take me 12 steps to get down to that basement. Sometimes it's just like, if I can just get to the bottom of the stairs, okay, that's victory. Right. I'm starting. I'm starting. I'm taking those initial steps, So it's just not, let's not try to go so big. Let's not try to go way out there to the left. Let's start right here. Let's start
Yes.
right here. Let's start with just getting up. Let's start with just opening our eyes, you know, and then just saying, okay, what is it that, for me spiritually, I just have to, I wake up every morning. What is it that you would have for me to do today?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to ask, but I say, okay, because I'm not going to always do it my way, you know. I serve a mighty God. And so I'm going to ask those questions. What is it that you would have me to do today? And I'm going to begin to walk in that. But it takes time. It takes time to get to it. It takes more than 365 days, my friends.
It does.
Definitely takes
It
more than
just starts
365
there.
days. Okay.
Day
But
one.
every day you're showing up. Every day you're showing up for you. As long as you open your eyes each day, you're showing up for you 365 days. If you're not showing up for anybody else, you're showing up for you. That's where your self-love comes in. You are showing a love for yourself because you're showing up for yourself every day. Did you realize that? You're showing up for you every day. You may feel like you're disappointing other people, but you're showing up for you. And in order to be the best person that you could be for anybody else, you've got to be the best person that you can be for yourself.
Absolutely on point. I agree. And Miss Christmas, Tara Bush. Okay, I call her Miss Christmas because every time I get together with her, she has gifts for me and presents for me. She's doing all this stuff in the background. But she says to download Dropbox, and then you can go ahead and put all your videos in there and you can get access to them, but they're not on your phone. So that's a golden nugget for you. That's a gold bar right there.
Yes.
It's a gold bar.
Yes.
For sure. I want to welcome a few more people who've joined us. Miss Nick Angai Galindo. She is the brilliance behind guiding brilliant writers. If you are looking to author a book, if you want to know about what this book thing is all about, you want to do an anthology, please get together with Miss Nick. She's got some incredible specials. She does some incredible events. If that is your aspiration, definitely get together with her. And then we also have Miss Christy. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you here, Miss Christy. She's our customer service professional and always such a cheerleader for us. We appreciate you so much. I want you to kind of share a little bit more because I've seen some comments come about habit stacking. Yes. Talk a little bit about that habit stacking.
Okay, habit stacking is, like I said, when you have something that you're doing that is working well for you, and like I said, you may have to make a few changes or you may have to add a little bit onto it. One thing that I wanted to do during the 365-day challenge, when I first started, I was drinking, when I was going through my wellness journey, I was drinking a gallon of water a day. Okay, but the way my bladder is set up, okay, and the traveling that I do, I could not drink that much water because there weren't always restrooms available. And, I'm not aerodynamic. I'm not a sprinter or a runner. Okay, but there were several photo finishes. I was just like, So I could not drink water in the way that I wanted to. So I had to get it in other forms, or I had to wait and find the ideal times for that. But I had slacked off in the amount of water that I was drinking. So I went back to that habit of drinking more water. I could not drink a whole gallon, but let's see if I can drink a half a gallon. It was a habit that I had started and I had to tweak. Sometimes you have to downsize how you do something, or sometimes you want to uptick it. I wanted to have more meditation time. Okay. It just so happened that I used to meditate for 15 minutes in the morning. Okay. Then when I had to do my chiropractic exercises, I had to do home exercises. And one thing was I had to have a wedge between my back and I had to lay on my back for 15 minutes. So guess what? I was already doing 15 minutes of meditation. I wanted to add more meditation time. So I meditated an additional 15 minutes while I was laying on that block on my back. And so I stacked onto that habit. It was a habit that I already had. I was looking for time and I made the time. Did I have to wake up a little earlier? Yes. Yeah. But it benefited me to be able to have that extra time. So habit stacking is all about taking an existing habit that you have and adding to it, or adding a little bit more to it, so that way it doesn't become stale, or it doesn't become, because even though, we create habits, after a while, I'm one of those people, I can eat the same thing every day for years and years. I can eat the same. I love me some grits. I can eat grits every day. If watermelon didn't go out of season, I could eat a watermelon every single day of my life. Okay. But after a while, some things change, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do something different. So it's taking that existing habit or that existing time and space and enhancing it. How do I go about enhancing it and making it better? How do I add on to it to make it better? As I'm getting older, I'll be 56 this year. 56 years old. Look at this skin, y'all. Okay, but anyway, 56 years old, and what I'm strength training is something that is so critical. I used to do a lot. I was grew up in that time of walk away the pounds, and I would be walking, and cardio. And then I realized, no, I needed to change it to add more strength training. So even though I had that platform set of doing cardio and doing exercises, I knew I needed to add strength to that. So that way, it would be better results for toning my body as I was losing weight. And so again, you're stacking on top of things that are existing that are going to help to enhance what you're already doing. So, it's not like you're having to learn something new, or it's not like you're having to introduce something new. It's just taking what you're already doing and taking it up a notch.
And that is a gold bar. That is fire. That's so fire. I call it a 2-for-1. So I love to go for walks on the beach, but I also do other things. I will take a book with me, or I'll listen to an audio, right, while I'm doing that. Maybe sometimes I'm doing a meditation, right? People think that meditating is sitting down, quiet, and it can be, we're having all the external things, right, and we're just focusing on our breathing. Right. You can do that anywhere.
You're adding weights, you're adding hand weights. I used to exercise and I would put on a weighted vest. Because that way your body is thinking that it's heavier than it is and it works harder. And then you take that off and it feels like you're going to float away, but those are things that, like you said, that are enhancing things that you're already doing. Yeah. So it's like, let's start there. Let me start with enhancing what I'm already doing before I start adding too many things, because when you start adding too many things, then you get overwhelmed.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to get to that space of overwhelm. Let me do what I'm doing and let me see what I can do to what I'm already doing and go from there. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that's when people can get overwhelmed and then they give up. They just think, oh, this is not for me. I just can't get into this routine. I believe anyone can do. If we start small, I want to highlight this. Yeah, then you can make it your own. I want to highlight this comment by Christina Salgato. She said this is applicable to so many things, small habit stacks. And over time, they build up something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Post, engage, learn, repeat.
Yes.
She's always dropping golden nuggets, right? That's how organic business grows. And she's a master of that. If you guys want to learn from her, just follow her. She does it with so much grace, and it truly is organic.
Yes, I'm coming, Christina. I'm coming.
Start to attract to you, right? So absolutely. Please do. Good habits. One thing I would love to kind of highlight is this gem right here. And I'm gonna have to plug in my computer, but I want you to talk about day 3. And I'm gonna highlight it in a second. Day 3, you're talking.
I'm here too, so let's look together. Day 3. And the one thing I want to say about this book, I wrote this book and it was just 30 days of inspiration from the sideline. When I first started, my business was called Sideline Coaching Services. And I called it From the Sideline. It was little nuggets that I used to put on Facebook every day. And then a friend of mine said, why don't you make a book out of it? I was like, for what? Nobody's going to want to read about these little nuggets. And she's like, yes, they are. These are some good things that people will want to know about. And so I self-published this book. And it was back in 2015. So that was almost, 11 years ago? But I read it during the 365-day challenge. Because
it is 11 years ago.
Happier then, but yes. But yeah, I read the book during the 365-day challenge. I read I read it for 30 days because there were things that were still relevant that I had written back in 2015. And that just goes to show that there are certain values and things that are going to be a part of who you are that is still going to be relevant. And
Right.
sometimes we, when life starts life and we forget. And so when we forget those things, sometimes we need those gentle reminders. And that's why it's so beautiful to journal and to write about things that are going on. Because when you go back and look, you'll be like, you know what? I didn't realize I was that deep. But it depends on what you're going through, what experiences you were having. And that's going to tell the story. That's what we always say. Write your story, tell your story. And it was beautiful to be able to go back and look at this book from 11 years ago and to be able to say, wow, these things are still relevant today. So you said paid day 3.
Day 3.
Okay, we'll
Fear.
read it. Do we have time to read it quickly, or do you want me to just?
Yes. No, please read it quickly,
Yes.
because I
Okay,
think
so
there's some key themes in there that you shared.
yes, okay. Day 3 says fear can be paralyzing. It can cause us to miss the blessings and opportunities that are waiting for us. Breaking the bondage of fear starts with knowledge. Finding out the root cause of our fear releases us to seek the help we need to conquer our fears. Fear is a defense mechanism that is designed to protect us from imminent danger. It is not designed to be a band aid for our ego or insecurities. Stepping outside of our comfort zone should be embraced, not feared. We have to be willing to walk confidently into situations, understanding that the outcome of our experiences help us to grow and stretch beyond our limits. Fear not. Okay. So yes.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
why I wanted you to share a little bit about this is because I think so many times we get ideas, we get inspirations, we get these divine downloads. We believe that we should write a book. We believe that we should start a podcast or start some healthy habits. But then immediately that fear kicks in and we talk ourselves out of doing those things. So highlight some of that when we make that decision. What are some things that we can look for, and what are some strategies that we can help us to overcome that fear and do it anyway?
Okay, with me, and because I've been a minister for this month, actually, I think it's next week will be 7 years since I was ordained as a minister, and a lot of it does begin with faith. A lot of it, the center of it is faith. Just being faithful and knowing that our steps are ordered. There are things that people are waiting for us to introduce or to express. Said that way, it's a domino effect. Those things that we're sharing may be able to help someone else to grow, or it may inspire someone else to do things. And we have to be able to get beyond that fear that binds us, because it's not something that is real. It's something that's manufactured. It's something that we choose to accept. Okay. I love that book, The 4 Agreements, where it talks about things that we agree. We're agreeing to things. If someone tells us something about ourselves, what tends to happen is we agree that it's so. And so then it becomes our reality. I love that book. And if I was at home, I would be pulling mine out because it sits on my table as well. The one thing about that is what is it that you're agreeing to? Are you agreeing that that's so? Okay. And why? Why are you agreeing that that's so? By whose rubric? By whose thought? Who is it that told you that? And does that person have experience in that particular thing that you're trying to do? And if they don't, it's like, why? What is it that is the baseline of our fear? Is it something that we were told and we chose to agree to, or that we chose to accept as true?
Right.
And that's where you hear people talking about living your truth. Is it something that is true? Why is that person saying that about you, or saying that it's something that you can't accomplish? It's always steeped in what someone else has told you, or what someone has told you in your past, whether it be a relative, whether it be a friend. Somebody is telling you about this and you've agreed to it. You're like, oh, well, if they said it, it must be true. Why? We have to be childlike sometimes in our behaviors, and to be able to ask, what is one thing that 2-year-olds have to ask? Why? Why are we not asking why? We see that in some of our millennials too. They're coming back up with that whole question. Well, why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? Why do we have to do this? I'm beginning to ask that question. What is
Yeah.
the root cause behind it? Am I just doing this or thinking this because somebody said so? Or is it something that I believe?
Right.
So we have to be able to get past that fear, and that fear comes from us agreeing to something that may not be true, and trying to figure out how to reverse that thought.
Yes.
Why do I think that? Why am I so convinced that it's not going to be able to happen if it's not something that I've tried? How did you learn to ride a bike? You didn't learn to ride a bike until you tried to get on that bike and ride it. You're going to fall off a couple of times, and what do? We got right back up on that bike and rode again. Because what was it that motivated us to do that? That's why we always ask people, what is your why? What motivated you to want to ride that bike? Because you want to get out there with your friends and ride the bikes with them. You want to be able to get places that you couldn't get to on foot a lot faster riding that bike. So it's just a matter of just determining, okay, what is it? What is my why? Why did I have this thought in the first place? What did I think that it was going to be able to accomplish? And now I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to take that step and to put those things in motion. And I'm not going to allow fear. Fear is false. It's coming from a space, like I said, where sometimes we're the ones that are creating that fear. Because someone told us that what we were doing or what we were thinking is not right. But what gives them that authority?
Mm.
My faith overcomes my fear.
Absolutely. Amen. I'm with you, sister. But that's a perfect segue into Saba. I hope I'm not butchering your name. She asked a question here, and we're winding down, but I really think this is an incredible question. I would love for you to take a minute to answer this. She has a question: how to remain consistent in good doing and learning in 365 days when you're surrounded by unawakened souls who try to poke you and try to find fault in whatever you do?
Yeah, just like you said, it starts with us, and it's it's what you allow others to dictate, or what it is that you allow them to have authority over in your life.
Right.
It's you can have people around you who are not doing those things, but how do you extract yourself out of those areas? Some of those things are going to require prayer. Is there a way that you see out of that situation or out of those things? Or are there things that you can put in your toolbox spiritually, mentally, physically, that are going to help you to combat those things that are coming at you? Forces are always out there looking to seek, what do they say, out there to seek and steal and rob you of your joy, of your confidence. Those things are always going to exist, but it's going to be a matter of you saying, okay, what are some scripture verses? What are some words of wisdom that I've heard that can help me to change my mindset? Again, it's what we're allowing others to place on us, and what we're choosing to agree to and to accept. We don't have to accept those things. And yes, when we're in a particular environment, we have to ask ourselves, is there a way to extract myself out of this environment? And if I can't, what are some tools? What are some thoughts? What are some ways of thinking that I can use to combat some of those things that I'm hearing, some of those situations that are coming about? Okay, because is it something that you're trapped in, or are you choosing to stay in that area? There are so many, questions that come, that can come subsequently from that question that you're asking. And it will be a matter of having that conversation of, okay, where are you, and what are those things, or what are those situations looking like? And how are you responding to those? Are you reacting to the things that are going on, or are you responding to them? And what tools are you using? What words? There may be a certain scripture verse. There may be things that you have that every time this situation comes up, that's my go-to scripture verse, or that's my go-to saying, or that's my go-to affirmation. What are things that you're doing to counter those things? Are you creating affirmations? Are you creating things that are going to go to the reverse of what it is that you're receiving? And that's something that's going to, those are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. because we all are triggered by certain things. And, I always say, when you point the trigger or you point something, those three fingers are pointing back at you. And so it's like, okay, what can I do to keep those things from triggering me? And why are they triggering me? We have to ask those questions. And so, it's not a simple answer. It's taking a deeper dive into ourselves to figure out what it is that's going to help us to get back to center. Because someone's always going to be there trying to keep us off center, trying to keep us off. But like I said, the 365-day challenge starts with showing up for who? Ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. And I love that your answer is asking yourself questions. And I'm going to give a shameless plug here. I would say add this book to your tool belt. It's a short read, but don't let that. There's a lot of golden nuggets and a lot of golden wisdom. And I always say have a strategy, have that 911 plan. Whenever you're going to improve yourself, whether you're going to improve your health or your finances or anything you're going to do to improve yourself, you're going from where you are to another level, and you're going to have people who are going to try to pull you down. It's the fear. They see you leaving them, or it's making them uncomfortable. They're realizing the things that they need to do for themselves. So it's not always about you. Oftentimes it's about themselves.
Yes. And I was going to say, talking about speaking of shameless plugs, this book, the 30 Days of Inspiration. Like I said, it was my first one, but this is part of a 3-book series. It's 30 Days of Inspiration. Then I have 30 Days of Transition, and then I have 30 Days of Transformation. So it is a 3-part series that I created. So it's 30 Days of Inspiration. Be inspired. All right, 30 days of transition to transition so that you can have 30 days of transformation so that you can transform. So it's being inspired to make the transition so that you can transform. So you can find them on Amazon. I have an author's page. So just look it up, Kim M. Martin, and you will be able to, grab your copy of the book. So I appreciate that, Leah.
Absolutely. A lot of golden nuggets in here. I adore you. Thank you for taking the time. We're going over a little bit. Thank you, Ms. Tar, for highlighting the 4 agreements. One of the reasons I keep this little book here is because the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Yeah. And that is something I strive to do. I fall down on it all the time, but I'm always striving to be impeccable with my word. Keep my word. First of all, keep my word to myself, right? And then make sure we're keeping our words and our commitments to others.
That's it. Keep showing up for you. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, my sister from another mister. This was, I don't know, these times just go by so quickly.
Yes, it does. We could talk forever, you and I.
We do sometimes.
We do. Yes. But also another shameless plug. Leah is going to be on my podcast. She is going to be part of season 6. Every month she is going to be sharing financial fitness once a month on the show. So I am so excited that we're partnering in that vein, because that's part, again, of overall wellness. We're all about equipping people with toolboxes so that they can respond and not react to the situations that are going on. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Love you, my sister.
Collaboration is truly the new currency.
Yes, it is. Yes,
absolutely. It is. And doing real collaborations, not talking about collaboration, literally collaborating, having a mastermind, lifting other people. Thank you so much for answering Saba's question. Again, I hope I'm not butchering your name. She loved your answer. You brought a lot of value. You brought so much golden nuggets. You brought your wisdom. I adore you. I love the work that you're doing. I love the gems that you're sharing. And you show up like this all the time. Big, beautiful, bold, charismatic, dressed to the 9, head to toe. And
again, no pressure.
No pressure. No. Thank you so much, Miss Kim. And thank you. Any last words before I put you backstage?
Like I said, just keep showing up for you. Create healthy habits that you can focus on for a lifetime. Do things that are going to inspire you and encourage you and motivate you to move forward. That's what's going to be critical. But first and foremost, show up for you so that you can pour into others. They always say don't pour from an empty cup. Pour into others, pour into yourself, so that as you pour into others, you have enough for the both of you. then you can toast to your successes together.
Oh,
So peace and blessings to you all. Thank you so much.
Love it. She always peace and blessing. You've made a lot of new fans and friends. Make sure you put in the comments how people can reach out to you, the Amazon link, because people are going to want to know how to order your book for sure. We'll put a 1 in the comment if you got some value. Share them with somebody you believe could benefit from this conversation. Miss Kim is incredible resource. She's somebody you definitely want to know. She's always looking for guest speaking opportunities to share what she does. Again, grab this little book here. This is a gem. Absolutely. And we went a little bit over today, but hopefully you got some value from this. Again, please share it. I'm here every single Wednesday for the Wealthy Wednesday. And now we're going to take a minute really quick about story time. Any of you are here with us still? I like to share a little bit about what I do because a lot of times people ask me, hey, Leah, what do you do? Okay, so this week I've been helping so many people with the end of open enrollment with health insurance. So if you're struggling with health insurance premiums, it's getting really high. Your deductible is crazy. You can't go to the doctors you want. You can't get the prescriptions you want. Please reach out to me. I share something that I believe is the most incredible alternative to traditional health insurance. It is called medical cost sharing plans. And medical cost sharing is a fraction of the cost of traditional health insurance. By the way, you can customize it. You can pick your share of cost. If you want a lower share of cost and you're willing to pick a higher premium, you can do that. But if you want that really robust plan, you can do that as well. So it gives you that ability to customize it. You can go to any doctor, any hospital, in-state, out-of-state, and even out of the country. Think about this. What if you were to get diagnosed with something catastrophic? If you're here in the US, you only have access to the treatments that are available in the US. However, there are many countries that have alternative and holistic remedies. With a medical cost sharing plan, you can use it right here in the US and it will work exactly the same way if you are in Thailand. It'll work exactly the same way if you go to Mexico to get alternative care. This is why I say health insurance is about 2 things. It's not about co-pays. It's not about any of that. It is about quality of care and protection of assets. So if you or someone you know is struggling with health insurance premiums and you're not sure what to do, please reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. So that's going to do it for this episode of Wealthy Wednesday. And remember, your wealth today should be and could be your dynasty tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy Wealthy Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you at the top because we all know it's way too crowded at the bottom.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io and let's start building your future together.